Good morning, and welcome to the Albany NanoTech Complex. I'm Doug Gross. I'm the chair of New York Creates, which is a non-for-profit organization that oversees this site and several other sites throughout New York State, as well as working with New York State to help strengthen our high-tech economy. Now, we've always had many, many visitors to this site. But it's a special honor today that we have the visitors with us today. Senator, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Governor Kathy Hochul, and Deputy Secretary for Commerce Don Graves. And before I continue, I'd like to take a moment to also recognize some other distinguished guests that we have in the audience. And if I miss somebody, I apologize up front. We have Assembly Member Patricia Fay, County Executive Dan McCoy, Mayor Kathy Sheehan, SUNY Interim Chancellor Deborah Stanley, Todd Larson, Acting President of SUNY Poly Institute, Javidan Rodriguez, the President of the University of Albany, Kevin Eunice, who is the Executive Deputy Commissioner for Empire State Development. And we have many other representatives of our partners, IBM, Applied Materials, and Tokyo Electron, who are here with us today. It's without the support of and some partnerships with all of you here and your organizations that this site would not be what it is today. And that is the most advanced, publicly owned semiconductor research and development facility in the United States. Together, we built the infrastructure, created partnerships that allow for joint R&D between industry and academia, and we believe that model could serve the rest of the nation as we move forward. And we're not alone in that thought. When President Obama was here visiting Albany NanoTech, he said he wanted to see what was here happening in Albany happen throughout the nation. And as we consider the opportunities that are in front of us, we could not agree more. This Albany NanoTech Complex is truly a New York treasure and a national jewel. And we stand ready to support the federal government in its drive towards the creation of a National Semiconductor Technology Center, an advanced packaging institute, and investing in growing domestic semiconductor chip production. Now, please join me in welcoming Senator Schumer, whose visionary leadership and legislation will reposition the U.S. once again to be a powerhouse in the semiconductor technology and manufacturing. Senator?
Well, thank you, and it's great to see everyone here today on a beautiful Monday morning in the Capital Region. I really want to thank our great Commerce Deputy Secretary, Don Graves. When I asked him to come, he didn't hesitate. He said, I want to see what's going on here at Creates. I want to thank our governor. We're in partnership to make New York the semiconductor capital of the country. And the Capital Region is going to play a hugely prominent role in that as we move forward. I want to thank also, of course, Doug Gross, Chair of New York Creates. They have done an amazing job. We'll talk about it in a while. But this place is unique in the world, and it's going to position us in a great way. And Paul Kelly, the COO of New York Creates. Paul, where are you? I saw you before. There you are. We have our SUNY Interim Chancellor. I knew her for many years. She did a great job as president of SUNY Oswego, and it's great that she is now serving as interim SUNY Chancellor, and that is Deborah Stanley. We have, well, mentioned already, but why not twice? We have two great leaders in this county who have helped us in every way when we have work to bring jobs in these kinds of areas, semiconductors, but in so many other ways. Our County Executive, Dan McCoy, and our Mayor, Kathy Sheehan, so thank you again. And somebody who's one of the most dynamic leaders in our state legislature on this issue and so many others, Pat Fahey. So thank you as well. I also want to thank all of the representatives from the groups. What's unique about this place, among many others, is it's public, as was mentioned, which means the research here, companies do research, but they keep it for themselves. But the research done here will spread and do much more good than if it was just located for one company. And they have many partnerships that are part of New York Creates, including IBM, Tokyo Electronics, Applied Materials. Just raise your hand if you're from another company and part of this, well, they didn't come. Come on, oh, there they come. Don't be modest. Thank you. Okay, so we're here with a simple message. New York is ready to power the future of America's chip industry. And with a boost from the federal government, Albany NanoTech can supercharge our R&D research and manufacturing. And if we become the hub for the nation's first ever National Semiconductor Technology Center, it will be an amazing shot in the arm, not just for the capital region, but for New York State. And that's what I aim to do, and that's why I asked Secretary Graves to come to see how unique this is. Now, let me just say this. The national hub that we are seeking would mean over 1,000 jobs, cutting-edge jobs, making the cutting-edge technology of semiconductor research and development in the world. And that will mean that other companies will want to come here, researchers will want to come here, universities will want to be here. It will be like a magnet attracting the best and the brightest in semiconductor research. So it's a huge, huge opportunity, one of the greatest opportunities that we've ever had in the capital region. And we are here because we believe that Albany NanoTech is far and away the best place in the country to locate this new National Semiconductor Technology Center. As I said, it would be a game changer for this area. We've long had a history of manufacturing and innovation in upstate New York and here in the capital region. We're the birthplace of IBM, which has played an instrumental role here at Albany NanoTech. And we are home to some of the most shovel-ready sites for chip investment in the country. When I wrote the USICA, the United States Innovation and Competition Act, I included funding for the creation of the first National Semiconductor Technology Center in the country. And guess what was on my mind when I wrote that? A six-letter word, A-L-B-A-N-Y. And so when the bill passed, I asked Secretary Raimondo, our great Commerce Secretary, to come to Albany and meet with the stakeholders and hear everything that Albany and upstate New York have to offer. Now it's time they see the wonders behind the Albany NanoTech Complex up close and how New York has all the ingredients to power and revive the U.S. chip industry right here in the capital region. So, it's time for the Commerce Department to know what we have known for a while, that Albany NanoTech's combination of national partnership, existing infrastructure, and a world-class workforce are perfectly situated to become the nation's first NSTC and bring literally thousands of jobs here to the capital region, both direct and indirect. And I want to just say this, Secretary Graves has been a great champion for the industry. So we're not dealing with somebody who doesn't have great knowledge of what we need. And we are confident, I don't want to put words in his mouth, that someone who has great knowledge of this will understand that there's only one place for this center to be, and that is right here. Let me just say this, he also has experience. He was head of corporate responsibility for KeyBank, and he worked in the economic policy area. He was director for Vice President Biden in the Obama administration. So he has a lot of experience. When you go on a tour here, you see amazing things. They have machinery that makes the most advanced semiconductor chips that is almost no other place. In fact, you may have read in the news that there is a Dutch machine that does this, that's made in Holland, and the Chinese are eager to get it. But guess who has it already? Here. And we're telling the Dutch, actually, as a government policy, we do not want the Chinese to get it, because then they can leap ahead of us in the semiconductor research where we now lead. So the machinery here is amazing. The personnel, we have some of the greatest cutting-edge scientists and professors here. And there are partnerships with RPI and SUNY, of course, but also MIT and many other universities across the country, because everyone wants to be part of collaborating on the most cutting-edge research that we have. And that's what they're doing. They're making these chips smaller and smaller. I was told on a little chip about the size of your thumbnail, there can be 50 billion transistors. Is that incredible? But when you take the tour, they have the machines and the technology to do just that. And that makes our companies more efficient, and it allows products to eventually come to people, to even average consumers that are cheaper and more effective. So what it means here is we have to invest in new technology. If we want to stay #1 in semiconductor research, in these cutting-edge chips, we have to invest. We have to invest in manufacturing, and I am working hard to lure some of our companies to many sites in upstate New York. Of course, Global Foundries, which I was very much involved with from the get-go, is building another new plant right here, employing thousands more as they do their research. But there are other locations in Utica and Syracuse and in between Rochester and Buffalo, in Batavia, in Genesee County, that are also shovel-ready and ready to go. And let me say this, the fact that we have this research here at Albany NanoTech, the fact that we can gain the National Semiconductor Technology Center will help us create and bring literally thousands and thousands and thousands of good manufacturing jobs here to upstate New York as well. So it's sort of a 1-2 punch. That's important. The great research here, as well as the ability to expand that into manufacturing. So for nearly 20 years, Albany NanoTech has partnered with companies of all sizes. And right here in Albany, just to show you, we're not just talking out of our hat. This is the first place where they fabricated the 7-nanometer microchip. That's 1/1000th of a meter. Incredible. And then they built the first 5-nanometer chip. And as if they couldn't get any smaller, last summer, Albany, in partnership with IBM, built the first 2-nanometer microchip, the smallest microchip ever, the most effective, efficient microchip in the capital region. That's why we are so proud of what's happened here, and we have such high hopes for what can happen here in the future, bringing us to even bigger and better things. As I said, Secretary Raimondo was here and very impressed, and believe me, I'll be whispering and not so whispering in her ear all the time about this, but we first got to pass the USICA bill, which we're making great progress on. The House they had slowed it down a little bit. It passed bipartisan. It was sponsored by myself and Todd Young, a Republican from Indiana, passed with a significant bipartisan vote. The House couldn't quite figure out what to do, but now they have, so USICA is on its way. And we're very optimistic it will be passed, and that will have the funding for the National Center, which we hope to land here in Albany. So in short, Albany is home to the NSTC is a win-win-win. It's a win for the Commerce Department and the United States because it will allow us to again, lead the world right here in the capital region on semiconductor research. The most cutting-edge, newest research would be done here because there's no other place like this in the country. It will be a win for the capital region because it's simple. but STC means lots of new jobs here in this region. But it will also be a win for science, a win for the progress that we have to keep making going forward by producing more effective, more innovative products, and semiconductor chips are at the root of so many of them, whether it be your phone or your car or anything else. We need to have these chips made here. So the site is ready to begin working is ready to begin work immediately. We were shown by the director just new places they can expand. They have the land and the ability to expand, and so I'm really excited about this. So let me introduce somebody who at the state level has done a lot. In fact, in her state budget, she put more money for semiconductor research. I'm proud to say that was federal money, like much of the money in the state budget. But it's going to go to great use, and I have a great deal of confidence when the federal government gives the state money, it will be well used for the right things under Governor Hochul's leadership. So without further ado, let me call on the governor.
Well, Senator Schumer, one thing I'll commit for sure, you keep sending that federal money, we'll find ways to spend it. So thank you very much. Thank you. It is great to be back here, although I think we just did a press event at SUNY Albany a couple days ago to talk about our dramatically improving COVID infection numbers, which I will tell you, those of you who are accustomed to see me with spouting out numbers every single day for many months now, that our statewide positives are going down. That's a very good dynamic, and we're still under 10%, and we got different variants in different parts of the state, but ultimately heading toward that place where we've all been waiting for so long, which is a much more manageable infection rate. And hospitalizations are down as well, so that's your daily COVID report. But great to be here and also to see our partners in government, and I'll mention Senator Schumer in a couple of minutes because I am so in awe of how he's championed this industry. And because of his tremendous influence in Washington as our majority leader, and never ever take that for granted. I served as a staffer for Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan. I served as a staffer for a congressman. I served as a member of Congress. And to have that kind of influence in your own state, it is incalculable to realize what that can do for the people that the senator represents. I want to thank him for his leadership, but also to have the secretary, the Assistant Secretary of Commerce come here. And I don't mind calling the Secretary of Commerce as well. We have a little bit in common as a former female governor of a neighboring state. I think I've got her on speed dial, so I plan on using my influence there as well. But to have Don Graves join us here, thank you, Mr. Secretary, for showing up. I mean, for all of us, it's about showing up, being there to see personally how incredibly important this is, not just for this region, but for the U.S. economy. And that's the argument we're going to drive home. And Doug Gross, the chairman of New York Creates, your excitement is palpable. I mean, to see what you see, not just what we're doing now, but you see into the future. And it is individuals like you who are going to say why we are well positioned to receive this National Semiconductor Technology Center, because there is no other place that competes with an individual like Paul Kelly, our COO. And also, let me get to some elected officials who I see often. See them more than I see my own family these days. That's our County Executive, Dan McCoy. Thank you for all you do for us, Dan, and the leadership you've shown, particularly during this pandemic when times are getting really tough. You were out there making sure the right decisions are made for this county. Same to be said for great Mayor Kathy Sheehan. So thank you, Mayor Sheehan, for being out there literally in the trenches with us as we came through this, but also never losing sight of making sure that this community, your community, receives the support and funding it needs from our state budget. So your voice was heard as well. Also, Pat Fahey will be seeing you many more times as we gather in our Capitol. The last session just began, and so I'll be diverted more to Albany than I have been over the last few months, so look forward to seeing you at many of our events as well. Also, the reason this is so successful is that we truly have a premier institution of higher education known as SUNY. And because of that, because of the concentration of incredible talent here, our universities and the professors and the leaders they have is that why we are on the map for companies to come to, because they see we educate these young people, they now have a job, let's scoop them up and hire them. That is the synergy that's been created here. So I do want to thank Deborah Stanley for stepping into a situation which was challenging, but you have risen to the occasion as our interim chancellor, and I want to thank you for saying yes and for being there as we chart the new path forward with reimagining the entire SUNY institution. So thank you. We're going to be spending a lot more time together, as well as our existing leaders here at SUNY Albany. We have Javier Rodriguez, we just saw a couple days ago. I'm wearing your purple. Okay, you got that? Okay, there you go. There you go. Don't take any other offense. I'm also meeting the Cardinal today, and he likes purple, so it kind of works. Also, Todd Larson, so important to this whole ability to attract companies to this region to innovate is the leadership we have at SUNY Poly. I want to thank you for what you do there, Todd Larson, as well as the companies who are here. So this is why it's all happening here. I mean, the people we mentioned are not just names. They're the part of the whole ecosystem we're talking about as to why this community is best positioned among anywhere in the nation to receive what Senator Schumer imagined could help lead us into this future. And I announced also, as I declared in my State of the State in my budget just a week ago, that we are going to position New York State to be the most business-friendly but also worker-friendly state in the nation. And how you do that? Well, you invest in workers, and that is why we're putting forth $350 million in worker development, workforce initiatives. And why that's so important? That's what gives us the edge over other states that do not make those commitments, because we believe that we can give everyone, particularly women. I want to see more women in the field of technology, and I'll just give you a sidebar on that one. My father started, as the senator mentioned, this is a great state known for its manufacturing, that whole culture of working hard and the pride of work that we had all along the Erie Canal from here to Buffalo and elsewhere. My dad worked at a steel plant, and the signs were that the steel industry was not doing as well, and he jumped ship when he was 30 years old and already had 5 kids. People said, "What are you doing? This is the most stable job we have here. Why would you leave?" Well, he joined a few other young guys who had just left IBM to start a small technology company. So as a 10-year-old, I'd go with him to work on a Saturday morning, and there were punch cards. Anybody old enough to remember what data punch cards are? I had the big job of sliding them into a computer that was the size of this room. So I've been fascinated by technology and technological evolution and seeing it happen right here, just to me as a personal point of pride as well. So we need to train the workers, but not just to be the technologists. We need welders, we need people in construction, because they're going to be building where you see parking lots right now. Under our joint vision, you're going to see new buildings going up, and we want to do it as quickly as we can, because shovel-ready is the operative word. You will draw people who don't have to worry about, are they going to get the site review and the transportation plans and the EIS. Give them a site that's ready for them to leap into, and that's why the senator and I have had so many conversations with Syracuse and Genesee County and other places where we're just selling. We're salespeople selling our state to other companies from around the globe as being the best place. That's why we can offer the sites, we can offer the people, and we have the innovation. So this is the formula for success that we're leaning hard into, which is why there's no better place than New York to do this. So I want to thank the senator for we'll tell it a U.S. Competition and Innovation Act, which is a little bit of a mouthful, but I think it's brilliant. I absolutely think it's brilliant. And you are in a great position working with our other partners to get this over the finish line, into the end zone, which actually we're not going to talk about sports right now. Little tough topic this morning, so I shouldn't have even said that, but I'll get over it. But you share our belief that the semiconductor industry needs to be here, and the rest of the world needs to recognize New York is the place where this is happening, because semiconductors are the brains of the computers. They're the ones that tell a car how to go, where to go, devices that make our everyday lives easier, from phones to 5G technology. It's all about the semiconductors, and we are in a war. We are in a global war with other countries, China, Taiwan, Korea, and others, who want to own the dominance of this industry. We're not letting that happen. This is where that industry should be blossoming and emerging. People should be looking to us and nowhere else, because there are so many opportunities, as well as protecting the intellectual property that goes into these innovations, highly valuable, and New York and the U.S. are the places this should continue. And there was a time when we were the leaders. We were the leaders. We shrank our dominance in this field, shrunk from 37% down to 12% today. 1990, 37% of the market, right here. 12% today. We have a lot of room for growth. That's what that says to me, a lot of room for growth right here. So we will compete. We'll continue to attract the workforce, the investment of $4.6 billion that's already here. We want to keep amplifying that. So we want those centers of excellence to start right here. We're ready. We have SUNY. We're ready to go. And I'm not waiting. And I'm looking forward to my very core to be able to say, when this center comes to New York, because of the leadership of the man sitting in the front row and all of us who are ready for this opportunity, that watch out world, the semiconductor industry is New York's industry. You heard it here first. Let's make that happen. Thank you very much. Thank you. And now I have the privilege of introducing our special guest here today, someone who's not new to government. Deputy Commerce Secretary Don Graves had worked under the Obama-Biden administration before, so you knew the boss already, and he had a chance to see your commitment to helping lift up our economy, especially the work you did after the last recession. That was transformative, and the work that had to be done to be able to bolster up an economy that was frayed and fractured. And I want to thank you for what you did there, but also what you did for the city of Detroit. You were part of the comeback of the city of Detroit, which is why we know you have the skills and the background and the experience to be able to help lead us in this post-pandemic world. And so your position is critically important to us. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm New York welcome to Deputy Commerce Secretary Don Graves.
Well, thank you so much. It is really wonderful to be here in the Capital Region today, especially because I get the opportunity to spend time with someone who I think has had the type of career that is almost unparalleled, and who I don't think we give enough credit for leading perhaps the most complex organization, political organization, that we've ever seen. Thank you, Senator Schumer, for inviting me to be here, but just as importantly, thank you for all that you're doing on a daily basis in the U.S. Senate to make sure that, that our Congress, that our government is responding to the needs, the critical needs of all Americans today, and that's what you do every day. So thank you, Senator, for your leadership. Governor, it is great to be here with you here in the Hudson Valley. I have spent a lot of time here in this region, and I want to thank you for your leadership as well, particularly in navigating the state through, and we're all dealing with the pandemic, but navigating the state through some difficult times, and your leadership has been fantastic. Clearly, you're going to take the state to places that it's never been before. So thank you for all that you're doing. Mr. County Executive, Mayor Sheehan, thank you both for stamping my passport to get into town. Well, I love being here, and I especially love being here now. It's a far cry from, at this point, 35 years ago, when I was coming to town and having to sit for hours and hours in the train station waiting to catch an Amtrak out west. So thank you for having me. Beautiful day at this beautiful facility. Assemblymember, thank you for all that you're doing at the state level. The thing that I've found is that what you've put together here in this city, in this region, is spectacular. You know, Doug, clearly what you and the organization have done to establish this region and prepare it for the jobs, not just of today, but the jobs that are coming over the coming decades here in Albany, across the state, and frankly, based on what you've been saying, the types of jobs that you're going to be spurring across the country, I think is just fantastic. And I'd like to say that the work that you're doing in partnership with SUNY, and I can't say enough about this collaboration between SUNY and New York Creates and the corporate partners here. It's truly remarkable. It's exactly the type of innovation that our country needs to compete on the world stage. As the governor said, we are in a fight for the technological leadership of the globe and the ability to spur job creation that comes from it. And the fact that you've put all of this together is exactly what we need. I was told earlier as part of the background tour and the conversations about the special sauce that you have here. The special sauce here is this unbelievable collaboration that you have the university, you have the workforce development folks, that you have business, that you're all working together. You're not competing over dollars, but you're finding ways to lever dollars, the private sector investments that are going on, to drive innovation here. It's this type of research and development that will create the next generation and the next generation of semiconductor, and that's what's going to lead this country back to being the leader around the world. At the U.S. Department of Commerce, we're committed to supporting just these types of important efforts to drive our country back to leadership. Just last year, the Department's National Institutes of Standards and Technology, NIST, invested over $70 million in nanotechnology-related R&D. And those investments are what's driving the type of innovation and leadership that you're seeing here with Creates and with the NanoTech Complex. Collaborations between scientists, between researchers, between the businesses that are continuing today, it's going to ensure that we remain on the cutting edge on the scientific innovation. As the governor said, though, we may be at the forefront on research and development, but we need to own not just the research and development, but the production of chips for the foreseeable future. 30 years ago, as the governor mentioned, we owned basically 40% of the production of semiconductors. But we're nowhere close to where we need to be today. 12% of global production and somewhere close to 0% of the advanced chips, the most advanced chips. That isn't going to cut it in the 21st century. It doesn't just create problems when you're thinking about purchasing a smartphone or an appliance. The ripple effects have affected every part of our economy. The shortage is expected to cost the auto industry $210 billion in revenue, with almost 8 million units of production forecast to be lost for 2021. That's 8 million vehicles that weren't produced simply because we didn't have enough chips produced that they could actually build those cars. That lack of supply is leading to car prices climbing. I know that a lot of folks may have gone out to try and buy a car and saw sticker shock, or maybe there wasn't even a car available on the lot. Even used cars, those prices have gone up 37% over the last year or two. But it's also not just an issue of inflation and the supply chain. Our ability to produce chips is absolutely crucial for our national security. And so the focus that they have here is in developing the next iteration of chips is vital to our national security interests. If we aren't leading the world, if we aren't protecting our intellectual property, we're not going to win the battle over the coming decades. It's because, as I said, our chips aren't just in phones. They're not just in our kids' gaming consoles or our washing machines, which they are. I know some people may not have realized that. If you have an old washing machine, you may just think of the belt and, you know, it spins. And, but no, it's also critical for our fighter aircraft. It's critical for our navigation systems and our communications infrastructure. There's almost not a single part of our daily lives that doesn't have a component of semiconductors, and that's especially so for our national security. So we've seen some companies make announcements over the course of the last year investing around the country, but that's simply not enough to get the U.S. Back to where it once was and where it needs to be going forward. We can't wait, and that's why I love what you all have done. You're shovel-ready. You have the teamwork, the collaboration that's in place so that you're ready to go today, because we can't wait. We need to be able to move forward as fast as we can. So, Senator, the work that you've done to get USICA passed, the U.S. Innovation and Competition Act, and the CHIPS Act funding, it's merely a down payment, I think, for where we need to be, where the government needs to be to make these investments in places like Albany and all around the country. It's absolutely vital that we get the $52 billion in the USICA funding as soon as possible, and I know that the is making very, very good progress. I, too, am hopeful, not just hopeful, I expect that we're going to have in the coming days and weeks, we're going to have that legislation passed in the House, it'll conference, and we'll get it to the President's desk for his signature. Because if we're serious about increasing American competitiveness, protecting our economic security, and hitting the President's goal on electric vehicles and leadership on a whole range of other areas, it's absolutely imperative that we invest in this critical industry as soon as possible. So every day that we wait and don't pass the legislation is another day that we continue to fall behind our competitors, our adversaries around the globe. So I am very, as I said, hopeful, maybe beyond hopeful. I have an expectation that, that the Majority Leader and Speaker Pelosi will be able to get their colleagues to come along in Congress to deliver this legislation for the American people, so that just like we did with the bipartisan infrastructure law, we can be able to move forward as quickly as possible, make these investments in places like Albany, so that we can win the future. So thank you so much for all that you're doing here in Albany. I'm really excited to continue to work with you and see if there are other things that we can do from the department to support the work that you're continuing to do here. And with that, I thank you. I turn it back to Doug. Thank you so much.
So I took my mask off this time, so. I want to thank you all for coming, and I want to especially thank the Senator, Governor Hochul, and Deputy Secretary Graves. To be a part of this, to see it, is to believe it, and we look forward to helping as we move forward. So we're concluded today. Thank you for all for coming. Thank you.